to Around Town. My name is Susan Sablon Harrington, your host, and I have a question for you. Have you ever seen an extraordinary piece of art and you stopped and paused and wondered, I wonder who that person was who did it? What were they thinking? How did they come to make such a gorgeous piece of work? What did it take from them, and what do they hope to give to others? Well, today we have extraordinary art with us, and I have the artist, Chris Heflin, who's going to tell us what it takes to do what you do. Thank you for being with us.
No, thank you.
Now, Chris, you are from?
Fredericksburg.
And have you been here all your life?
I was born at the old Mary Washington Hospital.
Oh, the one down by the old JM?
Yes.
Hey, so, and you're not that old, I can tell.
Well, unfortunately, I'm 26.
Unfortunately. Okay, girls. When you're 26, go back. When you're 26, it's like the whole world is open for you. You've got a little bit of experience behind you, and you're ready to go. Take me to when you realized you sort of like to do art, because we're surrounded by some of your pieces, and you're an amazing artist.
Thank you.
When did you realize that you wanted to be an artist, or that you were an artist?
Well, I've always drawn since I was a little teeny kid. I actually have, in my grandmother's house, I have a picture where I had drawn the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I mean, the muscles are all wrong places and everything, but it's still, you know, it's something I could keep. And I have a lot of drawings when I was just little, just always sketching. Anywhere I was at, I always just sketched. I was in class, I probably didn't even pay attention. I was just, you know, sketching.
And did your teachers recognize that you were a good artist, or?
I guess maybe the art teachers, they tried to, you know, push me along.
Yeah. What about your parents? Were they supportive with that?
Oh yeah, yeah. My mom was always, you know, huge into it. You know, she's always been right alongside me, always trying to promote me and help me as best she could. And she's probably like my biggest fan next to my wife.
Oh, wow. And I see that we have a picture of your wife behind you, and I'm going to ask you about that picture in a moment. But as you grew, you did not support yourself being an artist at first. You were a student, and then you probably had jobs. You know, you probably have a job now. So what was that turning point where you went big?
Well, I'd say, I don't know if I'm really big now. I've just been very blessed lately, and things have been opening up for me. Mostly I just try to do things for other people, and all of a sudden, you know, things come together, and I'm not really part of any galleries or anything.
No?
No, it's just trying to do my own thing.
Right. Well, you have a big following, I have to say, because I mentioned to some people randomly that my next interview was going to be with Chris Heflin, and people said, and I have to give kudos to the Freelance Star, because you did a great article on you and your art. Now, how did that come to be? How did they pull you out of a hat?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
I did this painting called The Transfiguration, and it was a painting that I saw in Rome, and I knew I had to do it. I liked Raphael, but I didn't like him that much. And then I saw that and blown away, so I had to do it. And I did a piece on it, and it wasn't even the full size. It was only big enough so I could fit it in my house. And I had a show for it at my church, and it turned out very well. And I actually even thought that I had heard that Johnny Johnson might have been able to come by, but he was very busy and just trying to promote it some, and turned out well. And then the Freelance Star called me and said they wanted to do a piece on it.
Wow. Well, and you're always so humble. You are a very humble person who has a great faith that takes you through your art.
Oh yeah. Well, I just try to give all credit to God, and you know, I don't want to say that, you know, anytime that I've done something well, I just try to do my best, and if it produces well, then I can just point to something else.
Wow, that is very humble, and it's good to give credit where credit is due. God is very good. God is very good. Now, so we'll talk about doing something well, and I'm going to take you from talking about yourself, because you look like you're a little nervous doing that. And let's take it to this picture behind us. Tell me about this.
I did this painting because I was watching The Passion of the Christ, and I was so compelled of his struggle and what he was going through at the time. And one of the artists that I'm very interested in is Caravaggio, and he's there's a lot of it's called tenebralism, where it's dark and light values are very extreme. It's almost movie-like quality, and I'm not nowhere near to that point, but it's a lot of that there, whereas you have the very dark values and light values, and the very light values really stand out, and where you can really see what's very important in the picture.
Now, when you're talking about dark values and light values, you must have done some studying.
Just seeing his works.
So your lessons you took for art came from where?
I guess public school.
Go public school.
Yeah.
Now, is there, okay, then let's give kudos to the art teachers you can think of. Tell me about somebody who pointed you in a direction that you did such great work. Name some people.
Let's see. There's a few that was in my middle school and high school, but they kind of, I didn't care about school then. So
Okay.
it was more towards just the last few years, because I only started painting 5 years ago. And,
Wow, wait a minute. You just started this 5 years ago.
yes.
Okay, keep going.
And that was because public school didn't do paintings. I guess it's because it's more expensive and things like that. But
sure.
I had a art history class at Mary Washington. First year I started there, and it was Dr. Dreiss. He brought me to light to a lot of art that I didn't even know about, especially Caravaggio. And as soon as I saw his work, instantly I knew that I was going to start trying it.
Really? You felt that connection to him more than anybody you'd seen up until that point?
It just seemed so real. It's like right now so many people just focus on photography, and it's such a quality, very realistic to that, where you could almost think that it was a picture. I've actually seen them in real life, and they're not life size. I mean, they're huge, they're just massive, but they are just gorgeous and have that quality to them where you would wonder if it was a picture or a painting.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, you're starting to warm a little bit, and you're jumping out of your skin a little bit, out of yourself. And so if you hold that pose, I'm going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more with Chris Heflin, the most amazing 26-year-old artist from Fredericksburg, Virginia, who has only been painting for 5 years. And you see this? You'll be seeing more. Stay tuned for more Around Town. We'll be right back.
A factory closes. Jobs are lost. The old way was to simply give people a hot meal. This is the United Way.
How you doing?
Right here in our community, United Way is changing the way, from quick fixes to real lasting change. That's what matters. That's United Way. To learn how you can help your community, visit unitedway.org.
I want to thank everyone for making this day so special. Dad, you've been my inspiration. I love you.
I love you too.
And Mom, I miss you so much.
Type 2 diabetes steals the lives we cherish most, but it can be prevented. Know your risk before it's too late. Stop diabetes. Learn how at checkupamerica.org or talk to your doctor.
Welcome back to Around Town. I'm Susan Sablon Harrington, your host, and if you've just tuned in, you would have missed the first segment with our wonderful Chris Heflin, who is an artist from Fredericksburg, Virginia. He's only 26 years old, but when you see what's coming up the next two segments, you realize what you missed will only come together and make a more complete picture of this young artist. Chris, You're amazing. You were talking on the first segment about doing special techniques with light and dark with one of your favorite artists, Caravaggio. And up until now, I have to say, I don't know him, but I want to be one of your followers the way you're one of his, because you are so good. And that depth and that break in light and dark makes me see the shadows in that picture we just saw in the first segment, which was called, what was that picture called?
It was called Calvary Road.
Calvary Road, beautiful. Now you also swing and we went from the old to the newer. Tell me about this picture behind you.
This one, it was friends of my wife's, and I saw the picture that they had posted on Facebook, and they had done it for their engagement. And I wanted to do something for them. I thought it'd be special for them because they was looking for a house, so that way for when they got married they could live in. And I want to do like more like a housewarming gift and a pre-wedding gift. And I just loved how the light just fell on them, and I knew that I wanted to paint it. It's very beautiful in colors. It was very intense.
Well, you can see the happiness coming from them. As a wife myself, having a very wonderful husband, you hope that when you have pictures of you captured, that you capture something like this, because you can feel the support that he has, not just because he's physically carrying her,
Right.
but if this, now that I know it's a wedding picture, that shows the support he'll have for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, emotionally, physically. She feels very comfortable with that, and her arms are around him, so she's going to embrace him. That's what I see, and you captured it. How long did it take you to do this?
This painting probably took about probably 2-3 days.
You've got to be kidding. Like parts of 2 or 3 days, or did you have a whole weekend?
Oh, no, I never have that.
No.
No, I have work and school. And
Okay, now what do you do work-wise?
I build swimming pools
Oh, do you?
during the summer.
Wow, and then you go to school?
And then I go to school, yeah, and then I go to school in the fall and spring, and then I keep my summers off so I can work and save for school.
Wow, so you just keep going and going. You're motivated?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's give kudos to your employer, because they've got to be good employers to keep you happy
Right.
enough. So who is it you work for?
I work for Randy Doss. I worked with him for 8 years, and he's one of my best friends, and he's taken care of me through a lot of stuff.
Wow, very good. So he's a friend, he's an employer, and he supports your art?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He critiques them all.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does quite a bit.
So what did he think about this one?
I don't remember what he thought of this one.
No?
I don't remember about this one.
Randy, I need to know. I need to know. What do you think about this one? Because I love it. I love it, and I bet they're so happy with it.
Oh yeah, I think so.
So kudos to Randy, because you have such a great employee, and if you need a swimming pool, go to Randy Doss, right?
Right.
Now, tell me about the one behind me.
This is of my mother and my stepfather, and I did it for Christmas for them last year. Actually, you look at the backside of it, you can still see Christmas wrapping on one of the staples.
Were they surprised when they saw that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I took a video of them opening it.
Oh, did you? Were they really excited?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, any of my paintings that I give to my mother brings her to tears.
I was just going to ask that, because I'm thinking about it and my eyes are getting watery. So if I had something like that, I would just probably fall apart.
Yeah.
Definitely. How long did it take you to do this one?
Probably about the same. Anytime that I'm doing just like maybe 2 or 3 figures, it usually takes about 2 or 3 days.
And break it down. If you say over 2 or 3 days, is that because you work in acrylics, right?
Right.
Is that because of the drying time, or?
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't take as long to draw, so I can pretty much go right into it. And I'll start with the skin tones first because it's the most difficult, and I'll leave the clothes for last and the background last.
Right. Is that easier for you just to put that together? Now, what is your process then? Because there are people who actually just go out with a palette and they start putting the paint on. I've seen the TV shows that do that with the trees and things. And I've never seen anybody on TV do just this, because I think it would take too much. But what is your process? Do you sketch a picture first? How do you do that?
Yeah, I put down my black primer or gesso and then I take a white charcoal pencil and I sketch it out. And then once I do that, I go ahead and start with my skin tones.
Right.
And I'll make sure that I put in all the light values and everything. That's the main point to me, is showing light and how it's represented correctly. So that way our eyes look at it and we say that is definitely where it's supposed to be.
Right, and I could see that with the one behind you also, your beautiful picture of your wife. Now, did she sit for that? like in the movies or like
Yeah, she did. She stood there, and then I actually wanted to do something very close to where I could almost show the pores in her face and the lines in her skin.
You know that every woman wants to be able to see the pores. Did she say no?